for another edition of Te Akau TV, and I'm joined today by Te Akau Racing Manager Reese Trumper. Reese, we head into April Fool's Day there on Saturday, and what a day of action we've got. I think it's one of the last Group 1s of the season, and I'm sure we're looking forward to seeing Trobian go around in the size produce.
Yeah, we are. He had a nice piece of work on Wednesday at Matamata, and he's certainly going the right way.
Fantastic. We'll talk about him in a bit more later on, but before we get there, I wanted to talk quickly about Imperatriz in the William Reid on Friday night. Great to get an Australian Group 1 on her pedigree page. Can you just talk us through her run quickly? And is she back in New Zealand, or is she still over there?
So she's back in New Zealand. She's out at Te Akau stud now. It's a beautiful place for horses to spell, and the run mapped out perfectly like we expected. They went very hard, which was always going to help her. She was off the nickel most of the way, but she's just that good. And as soon as she was there on the corner, we knew they wouldn't run past her. And now she was dominant, and a cheeky Everest spot wouldn't be bad in the spring.
Reese's phone is open, and he'll be taking phone calls for any slot holders out there to do a couple of deals. But as you mentioned, she would be very hard to beat in a race like that, and it would be great to see a man like Opie Bosson with his class on board in a race of that caliber as well. And then on Saturday, we saw Campionessa in Flemington. She kind of peeled out looking like she was going to be in the finish, but then just didn't quite finish the race off.
Yeah, I thought Opie gave her a sweet trip. The 300, I got a bit excited actually, but she got beaten by a top horse that's won Group 1s at 1400 over there, and he's a marble, that horse. So no, she ran as good as she could, and she's come a long way this season. She started on the poly track at Riccarton, so to end up in an Australian Group 1 and being competitive, only 3 lengths off the winner, she's got a very bright season next season.
It's a true rise, and I guess she did finish, I think, 6th there in the Australian Cup, of which was a blanket finish for 6th, 5th, and 4th. So she could have been there with that Australian black type on the page with a 4th placing, and probably just missed out by half a head there as well. But just quickly, some of the other winners. There's been lots this week. Ku Cullen there on Riccarton, he backed up well to win his 2nd start in as many runs. Aria Ree, Millie Fiore, and of course Brando winning the Group 2 Japan Trophy there at Tauranga on Saturday. Good to see again Petrucci for Trelawney Stud win again there at Tauhera Nico on Sunday, and then Matamata on Wednesday we had wins from, believe it or not, Hero Worship and Zantabula. She looks a speedy wee filly.
Yeah, she's got plenty of upside. The Queensland Oaks looks like a nice race for her. We always knew she had plenty of ability. She just had a couple of niggles. We've given her time, and she's strengthened up nicely, but she's certainly got a lot of ability, and the Queensland Oaks over 2200 looks very well suited to a mare like her.
Great. Well, that's just touching on a few, and it's probably it will take us a little long to go through each of those winners in great detail. So we might just kick straight into the racing action there at Avondale, and we're going to kick off in race 1 with 2 old marvels, the 2 6-year-old geldings. Both compete in this open handicap over 1200 metres, and those are Chala and Ayatir Lad, both winning their last starts impressively as well.
Yeah, they were both competing in a Cracker Million as 2-year-olds as well. So it's unbelievable that they're still here, and they're going strong. Chala was really good over 1,000 metres. He actually didn't go into his normal roll out in front. He took a sit and relaxed beautifully. Snuck up the inside, and it maps quite the same again. He probably can get to the front this time, and Joe has an impeccable record on him. His work's been great. He looks good. And then ATL Lad, we'll just ride him quiet from there like he was the other day. He's got an explosive finish, and Troy Harris has been very confident in his work. He was very confident that he would win first up, and he said his work's just got better. So we're very confident with him as well. So 2 nice chances there, and Sam Spratt's a leading senior rider, and she's right girl for the job.
And race 2 there, the Westbrook Wines 2-year-old set weight and penalties. Valentine started off as a favourite on his race day debut. Draws barrier 1 with Bridget Grills on board there for Windsor Park Stud.
Yeah, we're just giving him a slight freshened up. It was probably a bit of a rush to try and get him to the Cracker Million. He was a hot price beaten favourite at Tauranga last time, but his first up running second at Wellington was great. Pinion obviously won it, and the form out of that's been really good. So he's got plenty of ability, this horse. He's trolled up nicely at Taupo, and there's no reason why he couldn't go on with it. The 1300 will suit him for sure.
And the Princey one there, a bit of a wrap on this horse after it won its trial at Avondale, started favourite on its race debut, draws barrier 8, goes back to the course that it won that trial on so impressively, and I expect this horse to be pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, she's come on a lot since Matamata too. She might just be a horse that likes going right-handed, but her work has been sensational. Joe Cameroon rides her in all her work at home and gets on with her really well because she's not the easiest of fillies, but Joe's got her under wraps, and no, she should be very hard to beat. She should get into a nice bit of cover from that draw. I wouldn't say she'll go out in front, but she'll be 6th or 7th in the running, and hopefully with the long straight of Avondale, she can run them down.
And look at this. We are in races 1, 2, and our last runner in race 3. So whoever goes to Avondale and takes the horses up there on Saturday is going to have a great day to be out and on the truck back home by about 2 o'clock, Chris.
Yeah, I'm the lucky one that gets to go.
That's pretty unusual. You wouldn't get that every day. They're all in the first 3 races on the card, and there you go. So lucky you, mate. Race 3 there, the Birdcage Aotearoa maiden 1600. We've got Spellcraft who draws barrier 5 with Joe Cameroon on board.
He keeps improving every race day, this horse. We thought a lot of him as a 2-year-old, if I had to be honest. He just kept going shin sore, so we've given him time. Joe seems to get on with him really well, and his work's been really good, and stepping up to the mile is really going to help him. He's a big boy, and we expect him to be a top 4 chance again.
Great. And moving over to Awapuni there, so the Manawatu Racing Club at Awapuni meeting there on Saturday, the Group 1 meeting. Track conditions race. Traditionally, this race meeting can throw up a bit of a curly one with a wet track, but we're sitting at a soft 6 now, and it doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of rain forecast Saturday. But to be fair, most of ours can handle a bit of juice in the track, so it's no concern.
Of which, in race 1, we kick off with Bellameo, and she loves the mud.
Yeah, he's a really good horse. His 2 wins at Matamata were dominant. His run on Cracker Million Night was still very good, right down the outside. He ran as well as he could, and he's had a bit of a break since, and he's trolled up nicely. And Warren Kennedy's actually had a sit on him and was really thrilled with him. We'll just ride him quiet from that draw. That's what we've been doing with him on race day, and he certainly looks like a nice chance.
And Sens Doot and Inkabel, both last start winners, and both progressive horses on the way up. They draw barrier 12 and 9 with Opie and Craig Grills on respectively.
Sens Doot will just ride quiet again. She's drawn very sticky. She does have gate speed to overcome that, but she just hasn't shown it since her freshen up in the spring. So she'll probably get back towards the end of the field. But Opie gets on with her really well, and we expect her to run very well again. She's a short price favourite, and she deserves to be. It was a really good win last time at Wellington. And Inkabel, look, she's been very well placed in her three wins. This is a lot stronger than what she has been racing against. She's drawn a bit of a sticky barrier, so where she ends up from there, I'm not sure. But Craig's certainly an experienced rider, and he'll know where to put her.
In race 3, the JPAC Homes Premier rating 75, benchmark 1200. Another big, strong, competitive field here. So Fisticado comes into the race, drawn barrier 7 with Opie Boston on board.
Yeah, the field's come up a lot stronger than we expected, but Sophisticato goes very well at Palmy. His trials was good, winning. He looks sensational in the coat, and he's a very nice, gentle horse, and we all love him. He's pretty tactical where he can end up. So if he ended up in the first half dozen in the field, it wouldn't surprise us, but he'll certainly improve with the run, but he will run a cheeky race for sure.
And another one in race 6, the listed Branco Granite and Marble Flying Handicap, over 1,400 metres. 2 very competitive horses that seem to find themselves in the same field pretty much every start this season, and Fashion, Shoot, and Synchronise. Will Synchronise firstly come off the ballot?
Yeah, look, I think NZTR need to look into their ruling system, because she's a listed winner, and there's horses that haven't even run first and second in stakes races that are getting in ahead of her. So I just find that very hard to believe. But if she gets a run, she'll certainly make her preferences felt. She's been flying all season. and her win in the Hallmark handicap on Boxing Day was unbelievable. Things just haven't gone right with runs, with tempo-related draws, but she's certainly flying. And then Fashion Shoots, she's gone well all season. She's been very consistent. She deserves a black type win because she's been there a couple of thirds in black type races. So if any mare deserves one, she definitely does.
Great. And moving down to the Group 1 on the card, it's race 7, the Group 1 courtesy Ford Manawatu Sires Produce Stakes. For the 2-year-old set weight conditions, Trobian started favourite on Karaka Million Night there to come third, and then of course ran second to Tokyo Tycoon in the Group 3 Fairview Matamata Slipper in his next start. He has to be very competitive, and he's obviously well found in the market at a $2.10 favourite.
Yeah, he's going really well. This horse, his work on Wednesday between races at Matamata was unbelievable. It tidied him up really nicely after his very good trial at Taupo. Once the blinkers get put on, he knows it's race day. He's a very laid-back sort of colt. He's got a similar temperament to a horse called Sort of State that they've brought that standing at stud now. And if he was to get this Group 1, it would certainly enhance his CV for if we were to get him to stud, because he is a beautiful horse that we brought off Windsor Park, and he deserves a Group 1 because he would be the second best 2-year-old in the country.
Absolutely. And then we're going to go down to race 8, the Group 2 City of Palmerston North Awapuni Gold Cup. Open, set weight and penalties, 2,000 metres. We find Brando on the backup, and word of the wise, be wary of the Mark Walker horse on the backup. Pre-deferred did it earlier in the season, and this horse seems to be going from strength to strength. Reece.
Yeah, look, we're drawn a bit wide, but we've been riding him quiet for his last dozen runs sort of thing, and he's really flicked on to that. He's a horse that enjoys just to get into his own rhythm and his own headspace, so we'll do that. First time at 2,000 metres is obviously a little daunting, but he ran out the mile very strongly, like it won't matter at Tauranga on Saturday. And he certainly hasn't worried him because he's eaten everything since, and he goes well at Palmy. Ran second in the flying handicap, just got nabbed by a good horse called Germanicus last year. So no, he's certainly going the right way, and it just opens up a lot of options for him next season if we wanted to try him in something like a Livermore Classic.
Absolutely. Well, that wraps up the weekend's runners race. Lots to choose from for a best bet. Can you label one for us?
Oh, look, the Princey one looks like a very good chance at Avondale, I think.
There you go, the Princey one there in the 2-year-old race at Avondale. And just quickly, I guess looking forward to next week, we're going to be at Pukekohe Park for another Group 1 race, New Zealand Thoroughbred Breeders' Stakes. Are we expecting to have anything lined up in that race?
Yeah, look, Skew Whiff will line up in that after a good second in the Living Classic, and Aromatic ran a very good second, had no luck in the Cuddle, so they look like two good chances, and the Perfect Pink could possibly be there as well, first up.
Great. Well, thanks for your time, Reece, and we'll look forward to catching you again in the not-too-distant future.
Thanks, Hazy.
Want to win the Karaka 2-year-old million? We've just won our 7th in a row. This season, Te Akau's won more races, group races and prize money than any other stable. Shares are available now in exciting new horses. It's the perfect time to join the team. Race horses like Tokyo Tycoon, Te Akau Shark or Imperatriz with us. Head to teakauracing.com. Go the Tangerine!